I'll trust my own body.
Alright, so unless you've been living under a literal rock, you've heard of Rich Amiri lately. Whether it be his song One Call blowing up on TikTok, hitting Billboard, or even maybe you've heard about him blowing up for being a fraud, faking his accent, getting exposed for stealing packages, slapboxing. This man just can't catch a break right now. I don't know what's going on with him. And it's weird too because he's actually going up. He's at like 10 million monthly listeners. One Call's gonna hit like 100 million streams. Like, he's up right now. But it's funny because everyone who knew him before is just hating on him. Now, I've actually been a fan of Rich Amiri for like 2 years now. Ever since that For the Better project, that shit was actually gas. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really fuck with that. I like the plug and be Rich Amiri and everything he was doing back then. It was just really good. But then he actually switched up his style and started doing like the Future impersonation. And dude, he just went up. TikTok just took him to the moon. Like, if I had to bet money on who was gonna make it out of the underground, my first guess was not Rich Amiri, but that dude just surpassed everybody. But even though he surpassed everyone in terms of streams and listeners, he's still getting mad hate. Like, he's actually getting more hate than ever. He's getting more hate than the most hated rappers right now, like Saya and shit like that, just because of how popular he is. Now, you saw the title of the video. Let's just get right into it. Is Rich Amiri a fraud? Okay, like, what does that actually mean? Like, let's take a step back here. If we're talking about the underground as a whole, and we're talking about who's really about that life, like, come on, that list is very, very small, bro. We're talking like Laserdimn, like Glock 40, maybe like Uno and shit like that, but we're not talking about Rich Amiri, bro. Like, everyone knows that Rich Amiri is not about that life. I could have told you that 2 years ago. Also, let's be real, like, street niggas are not listening to Rich Amiri. So it's like, the people that are hating on him for not being street, you guys are not street either. So what the fuck? Like, why are we even doing this? It's funny, I'm not gonna lie, it is funny seeing him get slapboxed and shit like that. Like, obviously. But why are we doing this right now? Honestly, I think part of it is underground fans. They really just don't want to see their artists go mainstream. And I get it, like, most of the time when your artist goes mainstream, their music changes, whether that be for the better or for the worse, it's going to change whether you like it or not. So I do get the point of wanting the artist to stay underground in a way, but that's obviously like a selfish fan thing that's just stupid, so you shouldn't really think about that. But I get where people come from. Really, you're just helping his popularity. I think at this point, we already know that when you hate on an artist, you're gonna turn him up. Like, we saw Netspend, we saw like everyone in 2017, 16, like that's how they blew up. All the old heads hating on them, giving them more attention because they're stupid. When are people gonna realize that when you hate on an artist, you are just helping their career? People need to understand that. So if you really don't like Rich Amiri, stop fucking talking about him. He'll go away if you stop talking about him. But when you're posting every day about him, bringing up new memes, whatever, like, you might think you're roasting him, whatever, which, like, you might be, but at the end of the day, you're just gonna help his career. So who's really winning here, you or Amiri? Like, the nigga who's sitting at home on Twitter hating, who probably doesn't even have a job, or Rich Amiri, who's now fucking mainstream because of people like you? Really, at the end of the day, the only person winning here is Rich Amiri. Like, his streams are going up, his name is getting out there more, and more people are just talking about him. So you can have your little fun on the internet, but just realize that you're helping him. Like, you want to hate, but you're just helping. So is he a fraud? I'm gonna say no, honestly. You know why? Because if you really expected him to be like a street nigga, that was on you, bro. Like, you got fed a lie, you got fed the ad, you bit for it. Like, it was pretty obvious he was not a street nigga. Like, I guess maybe if you heard One Call for the first time, you might think he's a street nigga, but if you've been listening to Rich Amiri, you know he's not a street nigga. You know he's not about that. You know he's the type to pull up in the studio and play the stick like a guitar. Like, we know this. He is not street. Let's be honest, I'm not going to Rich Amiri to hear some street rap. I'm going to Rich Amiri to hear a Future type banger that's gonna turn me up. Like, I'm trying to have fun. I don't really care how street he is. Like, I'm just trying to have fun. And if you're listening to Rich Amiri for otherwise, like, that's on you, bro. And I get it. I mean, like, the shit with his fake mugshot, like, bro, he was like 15. Like, why the fuck do I care about that? I just don't care about that. At the end of the day, if the music is good, that's really what matters. I know that's gonna piss some people off, especially old people, but it is what it is, bro. Now, I'm honestly curious if he can sustain this hype. I think he's got like new music coming soon, so let's see if that actually lives up to the quality and the hype of his previous shit, but we'll see how his career pans out from here. Honestly, if he plays his cards right, he could be around for a while. Like if he grabs a future feature, some other cool features, drops another banger project, like he'll be here to stay. And let's be real, he makes good music. He's always made good music. So he deserves the success for sure. I'm not gonna be like, oh, he doesn't deserve it. So if he stays around, like he deserves it. He put in the work. He's actually got more styles than you would think. Like he can do little singing shit. He can do the plug and beat. He can do the future shit. Like he can actually do it. So if he stays around, I would not be surprised. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that next project, but that's all I got for this video. This is gonna be my first video on the channel actually. Yo, fuck with me, drop a like or some shit. Comment if you want. I'll be dropping more. Adios.